All right, we're back again. This time we're doing the 2A South 2 region we're overview. Hey, they're doing it different. I don't know why they got rid of the San Pedro and all that stuff, but they did. So this time what we're doing, we are talking about, like I mentioned, 2A South 2 region. Then once again, I'm Chris from the SoAZ football or Southern Arizona football with my man Daniel from the Varsity Breakdown. And we're going to go over this. What we do is we look at Max Prep's rankings and we kind of break it down from there and tell you if we like where it's kind of going, pros and cons, um, and what we're going to see. So the way we break it down, also just so you guys can see this, right now we're going to be talking about, like we had mentioned, the 2A South second. This is going to be the number one ranked region. Now that might also play. Now, once again, before people jump out of the way, that does play roles because, for example, Desert Christian's not ranked. So I can't take them into consideration. A lot of this is probably going to change real quick in the first couple of weeks on where some of these regions are ranked. But that's why they're there. So don't shoot the messenger. But as you can see, these are all pretty much green besides the Desert Christian, which we'll be talking about that. The way it's broken down is the green is going to be your top tier. The yellow teams are in the middle tier. Red teams are in the bottom tier. That's how it's kind of broken down and how I come up with some of these numbers and so on and so on. First one that we're going to kind of dive in here is going to be Benson. We're going to start off with them. Now, the one thing that I see, and you're going to see it right here when we pull up the ranks of strength of schedule, these are some nasty schedules for them. Like they're we compared to if you just saw the last show that we did, we had a lot of different colors kind of bouncing all around. These are kind of consistent to the way they are. Obviously, we'd like to know more about Desert Christian, but we'll find out about that. So Benson's going to start off. They're ranked number 19 out of the 57 teams. They have the fourth strongest out of the 57 teams when it comes to strength of schedule. I'm going to go ahead and go to my trusty man, as always. Big Daniel coming here. If you could run down the schedule for me, man, I would appreciate it.
All right, Benson. Max Preps is going to be having them go 1-7-1. As we always say, the tie comes from them playing one of the newer schools. So if you look at the schedule, it is not very easy. I think you showed it, the number 4 in the whole entire 2A division. They got to open up pretty much in a juggernaut their first 4 games, as they're playing 3 out of the 4 teams from the 2A1 region, and they're going to open up against Bisbee, Phoenix Christian, Tombstone, Tanca Verde, and then we'll see a Veritas Prep. I'm saying it right this year. Not going to try to mess it up, but they're playing Veritas, who had a really good year last year and has shown some drastic improvements in that program. And then it just continues on there as they play Morenci, Santa Cruz Valley, the new team in Desert Christian, and Willcox. But when you look at, they're probably playing, I'd say, 8 potential playoff teams outside of Desert Christian. Any of these teams can probably make the playoffs here in 2A, and you see why it's the number 4. 1-7-1. I mean, if I look at a couple of games there, I'd say maybe the Tombstone Tanca Verde game. Well, Tanca Verde's ranked ahead of them, so I'd say that keep an eye on those 2 games, how they go, and then I'll even say Santa Cruz Valley would be another one program that lost quite a bit. So interested to see how they kind of fill their shoes with the new players. But I mean, I don't know how much higher their ceiling can go eventually, because when you look at it, it's like, who could they possibly upset here?
Yeah, I think it's really an interesting schedule. I know they do have a Coach Chris down there has uh, a good quarterback, a real solid kid. I got to talk to him at a 7-on-7 over there at Sierra Vista. It was good to meet some of the kids. I think the Bisbee game is going to be a good, like, where are you game.
Yeah.
Like I had said that in the last show when we were talking about this same game. This is going to be good for both these programs. Where are you guys? The Phoenix Christian is just hard. They're a tough squad. They're in that market, that metropolitan market for Phoenix. So it's kind of easy for them to probably reload a lot more than maybe some of these rural or smaller communities and so on. I'm going to give them the Tombstone game.
Hmm.
I really say, hey, look, watch out, Tankerverde. This could be one of those, and I agree with you. It could be an upset. That Veritas Prep is going to be exciting, but I do know there's some studs that are on that Veritas Prep program. I actually got to hang with three of them as I went up to Oregon. They went with us on that trip. Good, solid looking guys. Um, Morency could actually be one of their favors. Like I'm saying, did they lose people? Is this a game that could be beneficial for Benson to kind of change that? You're saying Santa Cruz as well could be an interesting one. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of games in here. The 171 thing. I don't buy it on Max Preps. I think Benson's going to do a lot better than that. But like you're saying, and it's going to be an uphill battle. It's a tough one.
Hmm.
This is a hard schedule. But I got a whole bunch of faith in a lot of the coaches down there. A lot of those guys have sat there and said that's not what's going to happen. We're going to change things. And hey, look, I know they're always out there doing stuff. So I'm a Benson fan. So you know
Yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for them too. And it's you always point out, they have a green ranking, green strength of schedule, which is just gonna help them for every victory that they can get, and possibly be in that top 24 tournament come the end of the year.
I think this is the kind of schedule that Benson doesn't want to run away from.
Hmm.
They're like, okay, this we need to prove ourselves right here, and I think that this is exactly what Benson wants. So we'll see what they can do with it. But I'm really interested in it and seeing where it goes. The next one here that we're gonna have is gonna run into the newcomer that we're unaware of, and as we can see here, they're not ranked, so I have them, blank on the 57. And this is another thing too. I want people to kind of think about that is that because I can't rank the white teams when you're looking at this schedule here, there, like I had mentioned, after the first week or so, several of these are going to be kind of ranked differently or whatnot. So you could see a lot of things changing with that. You do see that they have one of the weaker schedules, obviously in the yellow here, where their strength of schedule is 46 out of the 57. But let's kind of take a better look at that, and I'll have you run it down. Why that might be.
Well, Max Preps don't have a record for them, being that they're a new team, but and they're currently unranked. But they kind of have a pretty decent schedule here. That's why it's totaled at 1604. They're going to open up against ALA Anthem South, then have a tough opponent in Heritage Academy, Santa Rita, Catalina, and San Carlos. Probably another interesting game against Madison Highland before they get into their region matchups, going back to back on the road at Willcox and Benson, and finish up with Santa Cruz Valley.
Right.
As far as a new school, it's always tough to say what type of record that they will have. The interesting matchups for me will probably be the ALA Anthem South game. How much did they improve from year to year? Uh, I'd say Catalina and San Carlos could be something interesting as well. But the one I want to point out is the Santa Rita game, and it's going to be the reason it's an important game or something you should just kind of keep track of during the season is that either Santa Rita is going to probably snap their losing streak, or Desert Christian, if they don't have it already, will have a chance to get their first victory uh, in their shortened, football season.
Right.
So,
I'll
yeah.
I'll say this. I've kind of looked at this a little bit. Where I'm going to look at is this: is it's pretty much everything outside of their region. I do like their quarterback kid that they had last year. Cooper Payne, got to spend some time with him when I went on a recent trip going through Colorado to a couple of the colleges out that way. Good athlete, good potentials, looked real solid. So I really think where this program's really going to have to do or show up and kind of help pull their weight for their region is the non-region games here with the Anthem South. They got to get out of this 200 thing or even the 198. I think losing to Heritage Academy or hanging with Heritage Academy might help them, but the rest of their schedules, like Benson, so on and so on, if they can kind of stay in the conversation,
Yeah.
and show that they deserve to be in the region they're in, and not like where we had mentioned, kind of like should they have been in that other side, with for example, let's take Tinkerverde and Bisbee out of that one and maybe put Desert Christian over onto the other side when it came to the region alignment. Do they, is that where they belong to be or deserve to be, or should they be where they are? I think that's what they need to show this year. Who is Desert Christian? I think that's
Yeah.
the big thing. But the next one that we're going to talk about is the one that you know the most about when it comes to this, is going to be your Santa Cruz Valley. They are currently ranked 119th in the state. They come in the highest ranked team in this region at 5 out of 57 in the division. They're also got the 12th strongest schedule out of 57 of the teams here in the 2A. So I'm going to have you once again. You're my guy of always running it down. So go ahead.
All right. Santa Cruz Valley is expected to finish 7-1-1. The tie coming from the new school in Desert Christian. They'll be on the road against Coolidge, St. John's, Tombstone, and Desert Christian as well. They're expected to beat everybody except for Max Preps has them losing to Arizona Lutheran. Now, when
Okay.
it comes down to Santa Cruz Valley, I spoke about it briefly with their program when we were talking about Benson, a team that lost a lot of players. I think the when it comes to Santa Cruz Valley, everybody usually tries to stay pretty local. I know before it was battling with the Casagrandes and Vista Grandes of the world, but I think now with Coach Tommy Cortez have been there a few years already and being able to build this program back to a playoff contender. I think that they have the pieces to possibly plug it in. I'm just interested to see if they can go a 7. I'd say a 8-2. I think that maybe they might beat Desert Christian at the end of the year, but do they have the pieces to hold true to this record? That's going to be my biggest question. As far as the games go, I mean, Santa Cruz Valley and Coolidge is always usually a pretty good matchup. Just depends on what type of team Coolidge has this year with another year under Coach Hernandez. I think the toughest games for him, we've been talking about them quite a bit, is Phoenix Christian, Arizona Lutheran, and I'd say I'm interested to see with the Benson and Willcox games as well
I'm
being in
liking
there.
it, man. I'm liking it. I mean, I think there's things to be taught here, things to be learned. I think Santa Cruz Valley kind of fits in a little better with some of these teams.
Mhm.
I would have liked to seen, like we've mentioned a couple times, Tanka Verde and that Bisbee kind of come over. We've seen a couple of, heck, we even streamed a game recently about 2 years ago or whatever it was Santa Cruz versus Bisbee. And that was a brutal game for Bisbee. So I know they would always love to get a little taste back if they could. So I would love to have them more aligned together, but unfortunately we won't see that. No, I think with this one, it's you just got to keep your head above the water. I think the
Mhm.
nice part is the strength of schedule will keep them as a contingent to make it to a playoff as a contender. But you got to do something. You can't get too far away from what they've got you predicted. So it's not like these losses or wins or whatnot will sink them too much, because once again you're playing the strength of schedule that matches up what you're currently ranked. So it's a good thing. So we'll see. I mean,
Definitely.
I'm excited to see how it goes. And last but not least, we got those guys from Willcox, those Cowboys. And I tell you what, they play some hard nosed stuff. They always do. Um,
Every year.
I don't know what it is. They always have a strong running back program or whatever the case might be. Is they're coming in ranked 136 in the state, ranked 11th out of the 57. They have the third strongest strength of schedule. Like, wow, these poor guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Third out of the 57. So I mean, they're always tested by fire. I'll give them that much. I'll let you run down this one and tell me about Wilcox.
All right, Willcox is expected to finish 3-5-1, picking up only victories from Palo Verde, Tombstone, and it looks like Benson. We'll say the Desert Christian one. We'll see how that one goes with that coming in at a tie. But I mean, this schedule here, outside of probably those 3 or 4 games, show why it's the number 3 in the whole entire 2A division, because you're going against, I think, Arizona Lutheran, Pima, and maybe Scottsdale Prep were, if not in the semifinals, maybe in the quarterfinals.
Right.
So those teams, I mean, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, at the end of the episode, what our feelings are about this whole 2A division as a whole. But it's pretty strange that, the toughest schedules are 2 out of the top 4 are in the same region
Right.
here. So that's
And
why
there's only
Max
4
Prep,
teams.
yeah, and that's why Max Preps has them going 3-5-1. As far as Wilcox is for me, until I kind of see it otherwise, I don't think 3-5-1's gonna probably be what they have at the end of the year. I think they're a playoff team almost every year, so I wouldn't expect anything less. Just definitely gotta try to knock off one of the Pima, Scottsdale Prep, I'd
Right.
say Arizona Lutheran, and maybe Santa Cruz Valley in order for them to improve on those records. I'd say get 1 or 2 of those, and they should be fine making the playoffs again for sure.
I think what's really hard is for a team such as Wilcox in this, and I'm not going to argue with you like on where the wins could come or where they may or may not come on this one. Um, this is a strong schedule. I think what becomes one of the big arguments at the end of the year is you're saying 3-7 or 3-5-1. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's going to be more of a 4-5. I mean, just off the top, I think they could probably get what was it, Desert Christian
Mhm.
being the tiebreaker thing. Um, I think the thing that becomes one of the big conversations is out of 4 and 5, do they make the playoffs? Like,
Well, it's 24 teams now,
well,
so
now the thing that kind of really concerns me is like you have Wilcox, for example, one of the stronger ranked teams playing one of the strong strength schedules. It's going to be brutal.
mhm.
Like, we just saw that with, Benson, like, we saw that with, Santa Cruz, whatever the case might be. It's like you have top tier teams playing top tier schedules. Do they get, that push because of that strength of schedule to actually be a playoff contender? Or do you take somebody who has a better record that played a weaker schedule? That becomes always one of the big arguments at the end of the year. Look, they went 4-5, we went 7-3, or whatever the case might be. Um,
Exactly.
and you hate to see that, because when you're looking at this, you're like, look at this, like you could have a team like, for example, Bisbee, who could go and win a lot of these other games that they have or something, because we saw their strength of schedule, Tankerverdi's strength of schedule, and they're predicted to go pretty strong or whatever the case might be. How does that pan out to a team like a Wilcox according to the schedules that they're playing? So you look at this, and this is why you're going to try and start seeing, at least I feel in the future, the green teams kind of migrating over to the left and the red teams getting pushed over more towards the right, like you've seen in some of our other shows where we break down how these divisions, or actually these regions, are broken down strongest to weakest. So, I mean, you could have a Kingman Academy having a better like record, but their strength of schedule shouldn't be anywhere near some of these other teams, if you follow me on that.
Absolutely. No, it's gonna be real interesting though. So I know what question you're gonna ask me next. So
I
go right
know, but
ahead.
you know how we always do. We got to do our little wrap up here. We always got to kind of, and there's only 4 teams on this one here, right?
Hey,
So this
well,
is a quick one, so you can only do so much. So let's go ahead and look at this. Where do you see them lying?
oh man. I'm gonna go with Santa Cruz Valley at being number 1. I think they have the pieces probably that gonna be able to have a better season. I'll take Ooh, I'll take Willcox at 2, Benson at 3, and then I'll go Desert Christian at 4.
Okay, okay. I'm really intrigued. I think the one who's probably going to have the best winning record might actually be Desert Christian in all of this, which is going to be kind of comical to sit there and say it. But obviously, based off their strength of schedule, I think they'll probably have the better winning record. But when it comes to ranking and standing at the end of the season, I'm probably going to go. Man, this one's hard, bro. I mean,
Who's playing for the region championship?
wow, because and what's sad is like you look at the predictions on these winning records, right? I mean,
Mhm.
the only one with a real winning record is actually Santa Cruz Valley, like you're mentioning. Um, I'm intrigued. I don't know if I want to. Wow, wow. This really. I'll probably put Desert Christian at the fourth seed, only because I don't think they're stronger than the three teams that are in the region besides them. Um, I'll go with. You know what? Let me go this way, just to be. I'm gonna play a little like different. I can't be like you on this one. I'll go with Santa Cruz Valley at 1. I'll go with Benson at number 2, Willcox 3, and Desert Christian at 4. I'm really kind of intrigued to see how things go with Benson. I'm kind of putting some extra love on them. We'll see what
Okay.
happens. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting region to say the least. Really tough.
Yeah.
Like none of these schedules on this one uh, are actually in their favor, bro.
No.
But I will say this is when we were just talking about which team was it? Was it Willcox? I think it was, right? Because Willcox, let me go back on this real quick, was yeah, they had the third strongest season, strength of schedule wise. I wouldn't doubt your state champion is in this Willcox schedule.
Oh, absolutely. Wait, I mean,
Whether it's
we
like
we talk about it. I'll say it. I'm gonna make a prediction. Good. Can you pull up the ones with the okay? So I think your final four is gonna be Pima, Santan Charter, Scottsdale Christian, and you can either throw Tonopah Valley,
ooh,
Arizona
yeah.
Lutheran, or
Ooh, you know what? Ugh. I may have said something wrong because like you're right. You're right. Like
to me with the way that this whole thing is set up this year. I mean, it's been the same for the past what probably the past 2-3 years, where these top four teams that we were just talking about
right,
are no less than the semifinals or quarterfinals every
right
year.
there in there.
And and so, with it being such a stacked division, we always talk about it when we did 3A. It's kind of like some of those teams should be up in the 3A and seeing
Yeah,
how they
dude.
fare against these teams. I
Like,
really
I would love to see a lot of these teams that are in green move up. Scottsdale Christian, Tonopah, get send up Pima. I know Pima fought to go down. I don't know why. Um, I would love to see like Santan Charter.
think.
Some of these go up and um, actually kind of benefit the um, the the 3A division. I think some things really need to kind of start changing with that small division at 3A and such a heavily populated, what did we say, 57 teams?
Yeah.
57 teams or some shit like that sitting in 2A. We got to kind of unclog this and kind of get the flow going here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these green teams that we were just looking at could move up to the 3A and at least see where they fall.
Hey,
I mean,
so hey, we've
that's me.
seen it's been pretty successful for, I'd say, a good amount of teams. The ones that either were forced to move up or chose to move up. I mean, within a year, two max, you've seen them in the playoffs already. So I
I
always
think
think it's a good thing.
the biggest thing for me when it comes to 2A and 3A is like their ecosystems when it comes to the players that come through their schools. Like
Yeah.
it's like a one solid class could really devastate a program for several years. Like how much are they replenishing? Like, do they constantly get that feed of new kids? little things like that can be catastrophic for programs in these divisions. So that's why you see a lot of them not wanting to move. It's almost like we don't want to disrupt this like this. But I think programs like these and I had a conversation with one of the coaches. I think some of these programs that sit in these metropolitan areas, if they're successful, like for instance at Scottsdale and stuff like that, start moving. Don't dwell in this. They can move up. That kind of thing. Because the consistency for them to replenish is going to be a hell of a lot easier than like a Bisbee or a Benson or something like that. So
Correct.
I can see why these small communities are kind of like, hey, look, it's not fair when we play some of these metropolitan areas because you can get 6 transfers, and next thing you know, you're the best team in our region. So I can see and I can understand certain things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens. But once again, that's going to be another wrap up. We do always want to show love to our sponsor, SitBack, the chairs. I mean, if you guys don't have these chairs for the season, I don't know what to tell you.
They're pretty.
We're going to be spoiled this year when we go streaming some games, which we need to sit down and figure out that, like, what are going to be some of the games that we are going to go check out. So looking forward to all of that. But this is it. This is the final one that we're going to do. 2 of the teams that are in our area that we did not cover because they're either they're the only team in their region. It would be we did not cover South Point 6A region because we don't cover the rest of it. It's just the one team. And also we didn't do the independent 2A, which would have had Catalina. Those are the reasons why we didn't cover those 2 teams. We're not going to cover a whole region for one program. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, same in Pinal County too. Exactly.
But we'll be supporting them. Either way, we're going to be supporting them and making sure we post up all their stuff.
Sure, we'll talk about them eventually too.
Hey, guys, coaches, make sure you put out your stats, get those rosters posted up correctly for us because we really do want to show love to the kids in our communities. So other than that, Danny, anything else you got to say, sir?
I got to go catch a flight here shortly, so I got to finish packing. But either way, man, it's been fun. Can't wait for the next step in this off season and see what we can come up with and have a little fun on here.
As y'all can see, check out up here the time frame. My man is getting ready to fly out to Atlanta. Going to do some stuff for the Major League Baseball All-Star game, right? Is that what's going on?
Yep, with Fox Sports. So I'll be out there about 10 days or so and be doing some operation stuff, but hopefully be able to catch the home run derby. Maybe they'll let me off early. So we'll see.
So you guys don't even understand. We got a Fox Sports guy over here and everything. We're doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. But other than that, guys, you all be good. And we're out of here, even though he's wearing that Steeler hat. Right on. Y'all be good.
Aaron Rodgers.
Meet SitBax Bleacher Seat, the first comfy stadium seat. I'm a parent with kids in sports. I've lived on the bleachers and tried countless stadium seats. I found light seats, foldable seats, hot seats, this seat. I couldn't find a comfy seat, so I made my own. First, it has a tall back with lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck support. It's lined in thick, full-body contoured padding, complete with a head pillow and optimal height armrests with cushions. It has a breathable mesh back, L-shaped folding arms, and its angular design frames your body so it won't block anyone's view. Compact, lightweight, and portable is a must, so we made it fully collapsible with padded adjustable backpack straps. While most seats are fixed, the SitBax Bleacher Seat reclines into a relaxed position. It was almost complete when I thought, what if I could also rotate the seat? So we added a rare swivel feature so you can fully rotate the seat in any direction and view from the best angle. And there we have it, the SitBax Bleacher Seat. When I received the first model, I was so excited. There was no pressure on my neck, no pressure on my back. I was floating. Finally, a comfy seat. Now we're ready to share it with the world. Whether you're dedicated parents, sports fans, or event goers, you've invested significant time and money into these experiences. Now get ready to sit back and relax.